Welcome to CA and Project Management for Architects. We're going to look at 7 points. Number 1, the dirty little secret. The current state of CA, or Construction Administration or Contract Administration, workflows and technology. Then we're going to look at ACC Plus. What's the plus? And then we're going to drill into the actual process, site visits and reporting, submittals, budget and payments, and then conclude. What is the dirty little secret? Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of tough talk from the little green frog here. So it doesn't matter how good the drawings are or how skilled the builders are, there will always be questions and conflict during construction. Shocking, I know. Well, how much exactly? Well, contract administration has been estimated at around 20 to 25% of the total effort pie, so to speak. So of all the design and construction administration efforts, it's 20% is dedicated to construction administration. Putting that in a dollar figure, 2022, according to StatsCan, architects build 6.8 billion. So 20% of that, and it's not always 20% that's billed, but it is definitely, there's the effort there. So that's a $1.5 billion issue, annual issue. So why isn't it talked about more? Why is it kind of a dirty little secret? Well, it tends to be avoided a little bit because, first of all, it's hard for clients to imagine, if your drawings are so great and the builder is so great, why do we need all this time to figure things out? And then it can also be hard to explain that and define it with numbers and data. We'll talk about that later. But also CA can be confrontational. There can be a litigious nature of it. There is a litigious nature of it. There can be some negatives, perceived negatives, like, well, we've got to stop construction or we've got to make a change order, which is going to cost money. Then there's the whole meticulous meetings and record keeping. Not really known to be the most fun activities that people went to school for, but it is necessary, and most of this is done in kind of a cobbled together solution. It's the records are kept, but it's Microsoft, there's Word, Excel, Outlook, other pieces of software, but it tends to be quite a manual process that's like sort of swept under the rug a little bit. What if, though, you might come back and say, listen, the contractor's asking that I use their platform. In fact, it might even be ACC, it's Autodesk Construction Cloud or Procore or one of these top ones, and they're going to pay for it. Be careful, because this could be a false economy. We have to ask ourselves, how am I maintaining my CA records now? Am I maintaining them? If there's a dispute, how do I access this data that's on their system? Is my data protected? How is it being backed up? How do I access previous versions of files? And how do I drill into that one Word document, that one report sent many months ago? And then how do I gain insights for the next time I do CA, and so that I can properly explain the process to my clients? The answer is own your process and own your data. So what's the current state of contract and construction administration workflows and technology? This is not scientific, but it does kind of give you a picture. First of all, there's a lot of software companies tackling this process. That says something. But the other thing you see here is some of them will call the dark green's a little better, and then the light green is not so great, and then the mid green is just mid. So let's take a look here at StatsLog. So setup required, maybe they're better on that than others, but then they're not as good as the others on some of the other things like handling email or managing the data or plugging into the ecosystem, or even the mobile app. How does that work? Some of them have a little bit more setup, or a little bit heavier on the setup, but then they really shine when it starts to getting into managing the communications and the data that's flowing back and forth. And then, of course, there's the price. Price is not easy to find with contract admin software, and that's because different billing models are used. So you've got by project, you've got by user, and then you've got unlimited versions, but then the company might want to do some sort of calculation based off of your fees or based off of the construction value. And this just gives you a bit of an idea of where they all place in the grand scheme of things. Then we have to think specifically about AI, because of all of the processes that can benefit from AI, contract and construction administration are really a sweet spot for it. Why? Because there's a lot of natural language search that happens, a lot of reports that are created, and a lot of photos. And this is an image taken from Autodesk Construction Cloud, and it automatically tags things quite intelligently as doors in this case, but it recognizes a number of other objects as well, and that keeps growing. So let's look a little bit more at ACC Plus. We talk about ACC Plus because it's not just, oh, it does construction administration. No, it actually is the only platform that is a project management platform, and it takes you from planning and designing to pre-construction, construction, operation, and maintenance. It covers the entire process of building. And while you're working in construction administration, oftentimes you need to access things like the sheet set, or you need to maybe make adjustments to the sheet set. You need to make changes in model coordination. You need to check things as you go. So construction is not always linear. You need to be able to stay on the same platform and manage the entire project. And then there's the integrations. We don't live in a siloed world anymore. You can't just use one software to do everything. So a lot of people use Matterport. They use that for on-site capturing and as-builts, or maybe capturing issues on site. Matterport plugs right into Construction Cloud. A lot of people use accounting and ERP software. That can be a part of the process as you're dealing with budgets and RFIs and things like that. And this is also a plus. So it's not just Autodesk Construction Cloud. Something that we take a lot of pride in is our expertise in Bluebeam. And Bluebeam Studio specifically, Studio Sessions, is a great way for your team to do shop drawing review, collaborative shop drawing review on their time, site visits, and reporting. You're going to use the app. This is an image of the app on the phone. You can look at your different projects. You can sync them so that they're available offline or online, iOS and Android, iPad, iPhone, and so on. Once you're on site, you can view the most current sheet set. And remember, it doesn't have to just be in the CA process. With Autodesk Construction Cloud, you're reaching back all the way even to schematic design. You have your issued sheet set at the time, and that can keep flowing all the way through the process. But once you're on the site, you can do a site walkthrough, you can tap and make issues really quick, take pictures. You can even assign it to members right away. Those issues will be assigned to them. You'll see an image of that in a second, but then it'll also show up, if they're in Revit, it'll show up in their design authoring software as well when needs to be reviewed. If you want to go a little bit more deeper into what can be done, you can also have forms. And this is an RAIC field review report form, and that can be accessed on your phone while you're on the site. But forms can be used throughout the entire design process. You need to do code review, you need to do ADA compliance and process checklists. All of that can be done through forms. While you're on the site, you need to meet with people, and you can capture the meeting minutes right there on the phone. Very simple. Create a meeting, start capturing the minutes. You can add signatures and other things to that. Every action item that doesn't get resolved is then brought forward to the next meeting. Everyone who's taking pictures about the project, it's all stored in here. It can all be searched, and even the location is captured and can be searched and filtered by that. Sometimes people want to make it like a weekly report or a daily report and then send that out to the people who may not be on the system. It's going to capture the address, the names, the weather of the time you went out, any issues you found, any pictures, and then any signatures that were done on site. All done with a couple clicks, making the report. We talked a bit about issues. So all of the issues throughout the entire project and across all the entire platform, Autodesk Docs, all has the issues function so that you can track and manage the project throughout. As you're working as part of project management, you might wonder, okay, what do I need to do today, or what needs to be done today? I have 4 overdue issues. Okay, I better take care of those. I have an overdue submittal that needs to be reviewed and other things. You can drill in and see what those are, and then what's assigned to the overall project. You can also check that on your homepage. Okay, getting more into submittals. Submittals could start with an email. It doesn't have to. People can, if they have a license to the system, they can just start adding submittals as well and uploading files if they're given the permission, that is. But if they're not part of the system or they prefer to use email, all of that is getting logged through the correspondence feature. And there's even a project email address that's associated with this. So anything that's talked about, any attachments, it all gets fed into the appropriate project according to the email address. And then files, there's just a lot of files. You've got shop drawings, you've got engineering reports, product spec sheets, things like that. That can all be logged very simply in files, and who logged it, who updated it, who's reviewing it. You can do pretty simple and basic reviews on the files system. You can do versioning. That little V1 there, if that said V10, you could look back at V9, 8, 7. You could see every version that was uploaded throughout time. And there's unlimited storage. You don't have to worry about upgrading your servers or buying more storage. If you need to do a more robust, like ball and court review process, you can use the submittals function as well. And then it gives you that more robust system with markups and going to different people in the system, and then it keeps the entire record of the submittal. Then we get into budgets and payments. And it's true that not every project requires the architect to be deeply involved in the budget and even certification of payments. P3s are an example. But when you do, this does have the capability. And then the contemplated change notice, request for a quote, and so on can all be brought through that process into the budget. If all you need to do is certification of payments, you can import the Excel budget if you need to, and then you can go right in the system and certify the payments right there. You can also export to Excel if you need to export the budget. So in conclusion, doesn't matter how good the drawings are or how skilled the builders are, there's going to be questions and conflict during construction. It's true. But there are tools. There's cutting edge technology to not only manage the CA process, but the entire process, the design process, a project management solution, ACC plus Bluebeam. When you do this, you can own your process and own your data, and then you can move the CA process from kind of a dirty little secret, from chaos to clarity. Thank you for your attention. If you want to go a little bit more in depth on any one of these subjects or any one of these topics, be happy to set up a meeting with you. Everyone has their own CA process or their own flavor, and we deal with a lot of companies and help them specifically on how we can address your CA needs and project management needs. So let's set something up and get together. Thanks so much for watching, and talk soon.